have how the company that we submit his invention to, how they, I have some of the drawing right here. This is going right here. So this was back in 2000. Let me just tell you how far I'm going to take you back. Let me see. We came in agreement with the company 2003. 2003. So you can see how long that been. What, 23 years? This is 2026 now? 23 years ago. Can you guys believe I'm just talking about it online? This is going to be the first. This is actually the first time that I decided to come online and do this. So when my son did a drawing, this is what the drawing looked like. This is not the original drawing. The original drawing is in the kitchen. I'm gonna bring it up. So it looked maybe just like something that a child would do. Okay, it's right here. What is this that I'm looking at? I'm gonna show you the original. Well, this is the original drawing. There's two things here. So I'm going to show you. When we got it to the company, we actually broke it down what this is and what it's called. It is called. He named it Dise. What did he name it? He named it Dise, D-I-S-E, after his last name, Safety Module. Okay? And this is what the company did for us. This is it. Right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm bringing it in close. And then you can see the rear view mirror. Anybody? Well, that's the car. Let me get it up. There it is. You guys see this? And you see the rear view mirror? I know you guys are familiar with this now because it's in the cars. It's in the trucks. It's in the SUVs. This was my son's invention. He came out with it. And I'm going to tell you what happened next. Now, the company we invested into, he had two options there. He had this and this. The company we invested into, they stole it from us. So, how did they do it? Well, me being a single parent, I only at that time had so much money that I couldn't, I couldn't really at the time afford these high cost patent. But I did had a temporary patent on there. And every 2 years, when it wasn't picked up, I had to renew those patents. And it costs money, guys. It costs money. Okay, this is the original drawing. So really, my son's original drawing started off looking like this. I'm just showing it to you guys. Let me see if I get on there with a mirror. Okay, with that mirror. Is that it right there? No, that's the handpiece. He was just telling in details what this safety march was supposed to do. That's what he was telling the company. And, of course, when they finished the drawing and putting it together for us, this is what it came out. Exactly what my son was giving to him. So the manufacturer, they got it all put together. And, of course, this is a result of it right here. So the next thing happened was, we excited about it because, we had they, as well as ourselves, they gave me information to push his project, his invention. The company was doing the same. Well, at least they supposed to have been doing it. And I trusted that it was doing it. But, let me see, I think it was like when we started off in, what did I say to you guys earlier? 2003. Somewhere around 2003, 4, 5, and 6, I believe. No one had picked it up yet at all. We went into a agreement. I'm going to show you some of this. U.S. Commission of Patent. I had it, patent. I had it locked in during the time that I was with this company. And, I'm talking about almost, 4 years or so. But check this out. This is what happened. This is what I'm going to tell. I'm going to, tell on the company what they did. Now, on this page right here, this was the press release. And this is what, the company wrote up for us. It talks about what the safety, we call it D's Safety. That was my son. Let me slow down. My son named it D's Safety Module. That's what my son named it. And it talks about how the drivers can check their blind spots easily with this device. And it goes on and more. I'm not going to read it all, but it tells you a lot as further, goes a lot in detail if I was to read it to you. But what I'm going to do, because I am videoing, I'm on a live video, I am going to put it in a, oh gosh, I wish I had somebody to really help me with this, but I'm just going to put it out there without video. I'm just going to put it in picture form because I want my son to get the credit for this. It was stolen from him and he was deeply hurt, really was. So let me go a little bit further. Now here I am, back at that time, I owned a Ford SUV. And I was a family of Ford SUV for probably about 7 years or more. I had several cars that I bought from Ford Company. So because of that, I became a owner of my vehicle that I got, that I bought from Ford. And because of that, I was a subscriber receiving the magazines. Now, after my patent had expired, I'm going to show you guys. After my patent had expired, which is, I showed you earlier, I had this thing pet, years, then renewing again, years, renewing it, And then as soon as it expired, I wrote the company, telling them that this is costly. I'm constantly, renewing it and constantly sending in thousands of dollars, guys. Now, my son went on to college, and anybody go to college, it's expensive. So it's not like he had, I don't know. I know I paid for some of those loans out there and put my son in college. So it became very expensive. I couldn't continue to renew that patent. And somebody tells me that, even if I had gotten a pen, like a lifetime pen, it would have cost me thousands and thousands of dollars, something I couldn't afford at that time. But check this out. You saw what I showed you earlier. Now I'm getting ready to show you something else. I showed you where, this is right here, for those that just came on, I showed you this is where my son had invented. In the rearview mirror, you guys are familiar with the cameras now in the mirror. This came from my son. My son, Marcus Deese, he's the person that invented this. But, again, after my patent was expired, I believe almost 3 months later, it wasn't that long. I'm looking in my magazine. I got the magazine. I have kept it for years. Again, I was a Ford subscriber. I received Ford magazine. This is it, right here. And I just happened to got my magazine in. I'm flipping through the pages, just looking at in the magazine. Wow. When I get to page, let me see what page is this. Oh, God, I don't see a page on here. I don't know what page it is, guys. But either or, you can see this is Ford magazine. But when I flip to this page, what did I see? My son invention. Oh, my God, do you know how I felt? Do you know how he felt? It was very hurtful. It was exciting that they picked it up, but it was very hurtful that my son got robbed. They stole it from him because the company waited till after the patent expired. Then they eventually sold it over to Ford Company. And Ford Company, they renamed it to Reverse Camera System. Reverse Camera System. And whatever agreement with them and the company that they did, or how they designed it differently, I don't know, but I know this was my son's invention. He had this idea. God gave it to him. And he didn't get any credit for it. So since this is Black History Month, I am honoring my son, M. Deese. And he named it Deese Safety Marshall. And my speech is, it's a little, how do I say it? My speech is, sometimes people say, I don't quite understand what she's saying. Well, it's Deese, D-I-S-E, Safety, M-O-D-U-L-E, module. Okay? So I just want to honor my son, M. Deese, for the invention that God gave him when he was in his teen years. And He didn't get credit for it, but this was his invention. It was stolen after my patent had expired and sold over to Ford Company. And Ford Company got the credit and millions of dollars. Yes, they did. So that's all I want to say. Again, I know God knows all things. I do. And my son was he was deeply hurt inside. Yes, he was. And to see that it came out, that really did do some damage in his heart. But I give God the glory today. He has moved on from, the thought of what happened to him. He got his own, another business going on in his life. And I give God the glory for it all. Actually, he had a visitation from God. God spoke to him. And that's what he told me. He said, Mom, God visited me. And he told me. And there was some things that God's doing in his life. And, some dealings that God's dealing with him personally. And he said that God said he would make me a millionaire. Yeah. So, again, kudos to my son, I'm going to say MDs, for what the idea that God gave you. But yet, you didn't get the credit. Ford got the credit. Your idea versus Ford. Your idea versus Ford. Okay, guys, that's it. And if you can share it, I appreciate it because I'm going to name it. These March, or even though Ford gives it another name, this is Ford. Ford gives it another name. But I'm going to post this and allow him to get credit for the ideal of his invention that God put in his heart. Okay? So, again, in my time, it is night. I have to get up really early in the morning. I have an appointment to get to. So, if you feel led in your heart to take and share this once it is posted, I appreciate it. Because I want my son to get the credit for his invention. If it get around to Ford, I'm ready. Because they don't know the calls I've tried to make, and I did make. I made calls to Ford Company. I made calls to some famous people, hoping that they can help this single parent out. But when I wasn't able to continue to carry the responsibility, I made calls. But nobody responded back to me. So at that time, very busy young lady working on the job. I mean, very busy. I was a lead representative and I carried a great deal of responsibility on my job that when I got off work, all I could think about taking a bath and going to sleep. But this was the thing. Those days, it wasn't always sleep right away because I have always been a faithful member in the church. So it was my job to the church, my job in church. Yet trying to carry the responsibility of selling this situation because I know my son was deeply hurt. But this is his invention. Before it became somebody else, my son invented this. Okay. Guys, thank you for listening. If you don't mind, help me getting the word out, please. I'm going to pray that many here in the States will circulate this because I want Ford to really know how deeply hurt a single parent and her son was I don't know, I can't use the word grieving, but we was just deeply hurt. And all the money that we lost in this for them to get the credit and not my son. Okay? God bless you guys. I feel like